generating concepts is a nice way to get a whole bunch of ideas out so you can progress forward with the design process. Your big idea is to create as many ideas as you can possibly make so you can start to whittle that stuff down. So you may have ideas that are really stupid that may not totally work. That is actually a good thing because it allows you to work outside the box instead of just going with your first idea and bouncing from there. And there's four different ways that we can generate concepts. The first one, the most common one, is called free-form brainstorming, right? This is where you do brain vomit on a piece of paper. You sketch a bunch of stuff out. You say a bunch of stuff really quickly. You do post-it notes, getting those ideas out as fast as you possibly can. In our marble sorter project, this is what one individual did. They just did a whole bunch of sketches of different portions of their mechanism and how they might go together, right? It's not super refined drawings, but it's good enough to see exactly what they're thinking in their head. The second one is forced association. This probably won't apply to us a whole heck of a lot, but this is where you take two things that may not have to do with your project, smushing them together and trying to get another idea out of it. So combining a wine press and a coin stamp will give you essentially a printing press from way back in the day. Scamper is really, really nice, especially if you're stuck with brainstorming and your ideas might be a little bit bland. Scamper is just an acronym that represents substitute, combine, adapt, magnify, blah, 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 where you can take an idea and tweak a few things in order to improve upon them. So substitute, you can replace certain components. Combine, maybe you smush a couple of ideas together. Adapt is, can you take an existing idea and tweak that? Magnify is, how can you exaggerate something? Maybe instead of a little index card, you use a gigantic index card. I don't know. Modify is, can you take something that you've already created and add features to those little portions? Put it to another use. Can you take something that is not meant for your project and actually make that apply to your work? Eliminate, is there a lot of waste? Can you trim down on stuff? Can you get rid of materials? Rearrange is if you modify the order or move stuff around. And reverse is, what if you just flip that whole thing on its head and thought about that in reverse. Scamper method is really, really nice if you do research online, and this individual said, hey, this is a cool idea I found on the internet. They gave them credit, right? HSE high school students. And they said, sweet, this is an idea I can work off of. And they spitballed and they modified based on this. They did not put this forward as their generated concepts. They tweaked it and changed it to fit what they were doing. And that's perfectly fine as long as you're giving credit where credit's due. I think it's a really good idea to do some of the projects that we have. Mind mapping, similar to our second one, probably is not going to help us out a whole heck of a lot because this really corresponds to things that are monstrous problems where we need to break it down into multiple issues and solve those individually.